Hi, welcome to Testing by Pixel Movers again. My name's Oliver and today I'm going to be testing an Artisul D13 tablet supplied to me by Artisul. I've had it a few weeks now, probably about 6 weeks or so. I've had a good time to install it on a couple of different computers, see how it runs, see how it installs, and it's just to give you my feedback. I'll start off by saying, and it says it in the heading of the title for this video, this review, that I think this is probably the best tablet I've tested so far. Its build quality is exceptional. It installs easy, no problems with drivers. It's very well built. It's a fantastically built machine, and it's just the best of the bunch if you're looking for a good Wacom alternative. This is probably the best one to go for, in my opinion. I know I've reviewed ones before, and I know I've said this before about a lot of the other tablets. On initial testing for a lot of the other tablets, my conclusion at first, when I first got them, was they were quite good. They had some issues with driver install, how the drivers performed, calibration, that kind of thing, but as you tend to use these tablets on a long-term basis, you get to understand their idiosyncrasies, their faults. So I wanted to use this one for as long as I could. I do apologise to Artisul as well, because I was supposed to get this done within a couple of months. We've had a house move as well. I've moved from Yorkshire down to Somerset in the UK. So we've had a house move, getting kids into school, that kind of thing. So I apologise to Artisul. Thank you, Artisul, very much for sending me this and entrusting me to do a review. I hope you're going to be happy with it. Like I say, I'm not affiliated with Artisul. This is an honest review, very similar to other reviews I've done before. I'll always try and be honest and how I think this performs, as somebody who's worked in the graphic design industry for a long time. And I've used Wacom tablets, I've used the top end tablets that are available on the market, and Wacom are very good. You know, I do think they're overpriced, but they do seem to polish things like their drivers. And to be honest, this has got a very good driver. It installs well, it works well. So I'm going to go through the review for this now and just let you have a look. So basically, when I got this, it came all boxed. I don't do unboxing videos now. I find that pointless. So I'll show you what you get with it. So you get a stylus, and it's a like rocker button stylus, very similar to the Wacoms. It's not a battery powered. It's self powered. You get a nice little heavy stand for it, so something to put it in. And with this stand, it's just a really nice weight, and it stands on your desk really well. A rubber bottom on it there. You also get this nice little case, very similar to what Wacom are producing for a lot of their tablets these days. And in there, obviously, you can see the recess for the actual pen itself. And you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 spare nibs. That's a lot of nibs. Right down the bottom here, there's a little hole where, instead of getting one of these little tweezer things where you pull out your you have to pull out your your nibs. You just put the pen into the end of there and just bend it to one side slightly. It'll grab the nib and you can pull it out and you can put a new nib in. But I mean, I've been using this for a couple of months now, and it's got no wear on it at all. So these 9 nibs are going to last you a long time. So that stores nicely in there for travel. Because of the size of this tablet, it is good for travel. If you've got a laptop and a case for it and everything, you can carry it around, and you've got the power supply when you get there. Because there's only a couple of cables, it would work quite well as a portable little device as well. So that's the main things you get as the peripherals with it. So like I say, the holder and the pen case there with the nibs. This is the tablet itself. I've got this running at the moment through a Dell It's an oldish computer. It's an Optiflex 755. It's still got a decent graphics card in, and it's great for running this as a separate little unit. I've got another computer over here, which I do all my main work on. I just started link this to this so I could do this review on here. So it's running through, it basically connects on here through two different cables. You've got a HDMI cable and you've got a USB cable. The USB cable, if you're running it on a computer with a USB 3 port, so the higher USB standard, it will power this, so you don't need an external power source for it. So if you had a laptop with the high spec USB port on their USB 3, then this would run powered by the USB. It does split, does the USB cable, so if you don't have a computer that has a USB 3 port, you can, from where it splits out, you get a plug with a USB port on the end, very similar to what you get with a mobile phone. Plug that into there, plug it into a wall outlet socket, and it'll power from that, which is really good. I think technically you could power it from an external battery pack. I haven't tried it yet. I do have an external battery pack and I will try it, and I will leave some notes down below on whether this works. So any one of these these little USB packs that you get, which will charge phones and things like that, it might be enough power to actually give this enough power to run as well. So the HDMI on this plugs into the back of this unit. I had to get a HDMI to DVI adapter to make this work with this particular, because this machine doesn't have a HDMI out, perhaps a DVI out. So I've got it running through that, and then just straight into the back of a USB port as well for communication with the tablet. Form factor wise, it's very nice and neat. If I just lift it off here, so this is the tablet itself, which you can lift off and just use it on your lap if you need. And it's a lovely build. It's really nice quality. What I've been getting with some of these other tablets is dust on the screen, things like that. So obviously wherever they're being made, there's not that care and attention to dust-free environments. This has absolutely nothing under the screen at all. It's a 1080p screen, and viewing angles on it are superb. It has really, you get that slight bit of darkness as you turn, but it doesn't give you that kind of negative effect when you're looking at it from different angles. So it's a very good viewing angle on there. If you were to buy one of these separately, you'd need to buy a stand. So these are done separately. It doesn't come with the stand, and it's a very nice stand. It's just a little kick out of the back, and you just pull it out. It's kind of like on a friction system. So as long as you're not putting too much pressure on the tablet itself when you're drawing, that would hold the tablet fine, and you can push it down so it goes a lot flatter if you're working over it, or you can have it, you know, the kickstand up on it so you can see it a lot better on there. And I do apologise for my video reviews if I do say a lot. I'm not a good speaker. I'm get a bit nervous on these kind of reviews and things like that. So I do apologise. I know some people have commented they don't like it, but it's just one of my verbal tics, and I'm sorry about that. But anyway, back to the review. I've put into my taskbar down here a little link to the driver. So the driver comes up. On this driver you've got various options when it first comes up to support digital link, left hand, right hand use, English language and display rotation. That's under the info tab. Under hotkeys you've then got an option, because the tablet does have a series of keys down here, down the side. You can specify these to what you want them to be. You've also got a scroll dial wheel down here which you can turn, just it just rotates, and you can set those to different aspects, and just by clicking on them and just pressing buttons, whichever key options you want that to take over while you're drawing. I won't go into that too much detail. They work really well. There's no issues. You set it to what you want it to do, and it will work. If you're working in a particular program and you want this wheel to zoom, as you turn it to zoom in and zoom out, it'll zoom in and zoom out. It'll work really well. And that's under the hotkey setting. You've also got one called pen setting, so you can set your double click time on your on the stylus. I've lost my stylus in, but I put it in the case. Far too careful. So you've got your buttons on your stylus, and you can set your double click time on there. You've then got your pressure sensitivity setting here, where you can test your pressure sensitivity in this little box, and it'll show you a little like a bar here showing how much pressure, and if you slide this up you can then see how much pressure you need to put on to get thicker lines. So you can adjust that accordingly, and it takes a little bit of tweaking, a little bit of messing around with, but once you've got this all set up and and you've tweaked it a little bit, and you get used to how you draw, and you get to a level that you like. So like I said, it does take a little bit of tweaking. You've then got an option for calibration, so you can go to it tells you which monitor you're on. So I've only got one monitor attached to this, it's monitor 1. Calibrate the U pen, so if you click on there it will bring up the usual display with the crosshairs to click on. So the best thing to do is keep in the position that you're working at, click on each little red dot in the middle of the crosshair and OK that, and that's calibrated, and no matter where I put this now, the point of that cursor is absolutely spot on. So it's got a really good option for calibration as well. You've then got save and restore at the end, so you can open your default apps, save different preferences or restore preferences, and that's pretty much it. It's got everything you need in that little app. It's very similar to a lot of the other Chinese tablets that I've looked at, but it seems a bit more polished. It's not up to Wacom standards. There's less things in there that you can tweak, but there's enough in there to tweak for what you need. These pens don't have any tilt sensitivity. It's not something that I'm bothered about. It doesn't affect really my artwork. Some people like it, some people don't. Some people are bothered. I'm not bothered really. But this, it worked straight away. Did this particular driver? I installed it, plugged it in, and the tablet worked, and it works well, and the actual calibration is very good. A lot of people ask about the slightly parallax, if there's a gap between the glass and the screen. On a lot of the tablets I've tried before, there's been a lot of gap between it. With this, there's very little at all. It actually feels to be right towards the front. I can't really see or determine a really massive gap, and there's very little parallax at all. So it's excuse me, it's a really good display. It's very crisp. I mean, this is set up at like at 1080, so it's at its highest level for this particular tablet. So if we come out of that, and I've got a few programs on here that I'll show. The only program I don't have on here at the moment is Photoshop, mainly because I'm running it on my main machine. I don't have a license to run it on here as well. Just to let you know, it does run really well in Photoshop. A lot of the other tablets I tried, and probably you've seen it yourself if you're interested in these kind of tablets, is that drawing in Photoshop you can get some very wobbly lines. And it's something that I've not managed to combat with other tablets and that I've reviewed. But with this tablet, straight out of the box, plugged into Photoshop, it worked a treat. No wobbly lines, it's very smooth, recognises the pressure sensitivity really well. It was just using a Wacom tablet basically. It worked straight off the bat. Like I said, with a lot of other ones, there was either a lot of messing around trying to sort it out, which never solved the problem, and if there was something that solved it for a short amount of time, but then didn't last basically. But on here I've got a few programs. I've got Mischief, which is a very nice drawing program. I've got ZBrush. I've got Manga Studio, I think I've got Autodesk, the Autodesk sketching program as well. So we'll have a look at some of those and just see how this performs. I'll get the camera in a bit closer so you can actually see what's going on screen. Okay. Alright, so we're in here a bit closer now. Making sure you can see. So we're in a bit closer now on the screen, so you can probably see a bit better on how this works. If we try Mischief first. So this is a very nice drawing program, a very cheap drawing program. If you've not got it, I highly recommend it. But working on a D3, this just, like I say, works really nicely. So just do a few lines so you can get an idea. More pressure, a bit darker. Get your very lightest pressure on, and it's just really responsive. It's just a lovely tablet. It's obviously got some kind of screen protector built in on this already, placed on it, and it gives a very nice, rather than being just glass, shiny glass. It's got a bit of friction to it, so it feels like drawing on paper a bit more. But it's just a really nice feel. And even out to the edges, go up here. The precision is still really good right out to your edges. See that? Whereas a lot of other tablets I've tried, you'd be going out to these edges and you'd end up getting these kind of like flick back lines, which wasn't very good, and I'd never been able to combat that kind of problem with these particular tablets. But this just shows with this one, there's been a lot of care and attention in the design of this and the implementation of the drivers and everything like that. If we just clear that. When I come from as you probably read in my, or looked in my other reviews recently, I come from an editorial art background, so a lot of very kind of like cartoon style work. So obviously very sketchy here. Just giving you an idea of what the response time is just sketching with this, and it's a really nice feel. I apologise if you've got some kind of like a bit of reflection on this. I've tried hard to get the reflection as little as possible with the curtains drawn, that kind of thing, but it's just So it just feels really nice to draw with. And like I say, you get that feedback. Drawing with different brushes on here, you can try different. As you can see with that one, this is just like the inking brush. So if you were to then start inking in, I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage here because I'm side on. I'm trying to. It's not my usual kind of like working angle. I forgot to do this on a second layer, so I can't turn off the layer behind, but you can get the gist of how easy it is to then ink something once you've sketched it, but just make sure you create a second layer. But it works really nicely. Very responsive, so that's all I can really say about this. It's just such a nice tablet, well built. Just the design of it is lovely. And like I say, I've been using it for a couple of months now, so it's had a good test. I've got a couple of pieces of artwork as well, which I've done in this, totally in this, which I did on the other machine in Photoshop. I'll be supplying those to Artisul, so they'll probably show those on their website, and I might even try and tag a couple of pieces at the end of this review as well, so you'll see them on the end of the review. But that's Mischief, so that works really well. And all these programs, save changes, all these programs worked really well, like I said, straight out of the box. We'll try now. I think this is the Autodesk SketchBook Pro. So again, with SketchBook Pro, you go straight into it and it works fine. What I did tend to find with a lot of the other tablets is some programs worked really well, but then things like Autodesk SketchBook, you'd go to draw and the cursor would be off down here somewhere. With this, it's absolutely spot on. So this is a non-pressure sensitive brush in and here, just trying to find one that is pressure sensitive. So that's pressure sensitive, like a pencil brush, so you can press really lightly, but then heavy. Trying to find. So the only problem with SketchBook Pro is not all brushes are pressure sensitive. Let's just try the preferences. It's all set to pressure sensitivity on there, but it's not a program that I use very often, this, but it's it was obviously doing pressure sensitivity in some of these brushes. I just don't know where there's so like an actual inking brush and stuff like that, but as you can see, it works well, again, right up to the edges, right down here, all the way around, absolutely no problem at all. Selection of different tools is really easy. It's just an absolute dream to work with. So that's SketchBook Pro. I'm not going to do, it's not going to be an in-depth review of SketchBook Pro and how this works with SketchBook Pro. It's just going to show you that this particular tablet, how it behaves in various programs, is very good. So we'll now have a look at Manga Studio. So obviously a very nice program for those doing cartoon, comic book work, that kind of thing. So I've not actually set up any of these for Manga Studio yet, but again, there we go. Get on the right tool first. So you can see your levels of pressure sensitivity there, how light you can get, right up to highest pressure sensitivity. And again, it's very responsive, there's no lag. No matter how fast I go, there's very little lag. Now what I will do, just thinking about it, is do a quick line test. So if you just bear with me a second, I'll just delete that. And a good test for a lot of these tablets is if I just try and draw a straight line with a straight edge. You see? Oh, I shifted it then. So you've got some pretty decent straight lines there. This bottom one here shifted with the card I was using. So I've worked on units like this before as well. The higher end, the Wacom units. So I've worked on a very similar size unit to this of a Wacom, and to be honest, and like I said, I have said this about other tablets before, but after use of the other tablets, they tend to develop faults. You start to notice things you didn't notice when you first got them. With this particular tablet, I can honestly say it works as well as a Wacom. It just doesn't have that tilt sensitivity in the pen, and that's the only thing I can see that's missing. It installs really well. This is working on Windows 10. All these various programs, I have Windows 10 on my other machine, and it works in Photoshop flawlessly. It's just a really lovely tablet to work on. And like I said, that was Manga Studio. I think I've only one other program to show on here, so don't save that. And the last program I've got on here is Artisul 4. So again, in Artisul, I'm just showing the sensitivity options. So very strong force on the pen, high pressure, gives you that kind of stroke, and then going down, lighter, lighter, lighter. And it's just we're getting an Artisul crash, brilliant. Not the tablet's fault, just the program's fault. Try that again. So again, it's just all about how this tablet reacts to your strokes. There's no, so there's no lag. There was lag. So in this particular program, every now and again a little bit of lag, and obviously it doesn't like this program at all. Well, my computer doesn't like this program. I need to reinstall. But when this program does work, it works really well. We just have an issue obviously at the moment with how it's behaving, but yeah, it's not liking this program. When this, I've got this on my other machine. It's obviously down to this particular PC running this, but this is on my other machine and it runs flawlessly. Obviously, nothing to do with the tablet, just to do with the program itself. As you could see, all the other programs were running fine, and for the time it did show on there that it showed that you can use it, and it works really well. I don't think there's much else to say about this particular tablet. It's just so well built. The support you'll get as well from Artisul is really good. If you're buying in the UK, this was sent to me from their UK distribution office. They sent it really fast, and the guy there is really good. If you want support, you contact him and he'll be back in touch very quickly. So if you are looking for one of these kind of tab monitors, at quite a bit cheaper than Wacom, I'll put some details upon pricing on the review itself, and the best thing for you to do is have a look at that, and then I'll put some links to Artisul's website and to the pricing structure of this as well. So thank you for watching again one of my reviews. And this is, like I say, is the best tablet I've tested to date. I've got some other testing coming up, a couple of just standard graphics tablets, not tab monitors but graphics tablets. If you like my reviews, just subscribe. Any questions you have about this, post the questions below. I try and answer everything that comes up if I can do. I keep all the tablet monitors that I have, so I'm constantly replugging different ones back in to answer questions where needed. So if you have any questions about one of these at all, where to get it in your country, I'm in touch with Artisul as well, so they can let me know on any ordering side as well. So thanks again for watching. This is Tested by Pixel Movers. This was the Artisul D13 tablet monitor, HD, and it's been a pleasure to work on this. It's just an absolutely superb tablet. Thanks for watching. See you later.